you know, in life, everybody goes through trials, everybody goes through struggles. It's just part of life. Even in the Word, it talks about, Jesus told the disciples that you in this world, you're going to go through trials, you're going to go through hard times. So it's not a matter of if you're going to, it's just when. But the most important question is how you respond to those trials and everything that you're going through and dealing with. I think about it, and at one time, I was doing good. Was married, had a wife, two beautiful kids, good job, good career, nice house. Just really, really doing good. We were happy and doing good. Not perfect, but we were making it. Just had a good family. Over the course of the years, things here and there, and our struggles came up, and eventually led us apart, and ended up getting divorced. Kids were still a big part of my life, though. They were, the kids were my life. The kids were my world. Going through all of that, I started getting back into church. Started going to church all the time, coaching church league basketball, teaching kids small group. The kids, both my kids were involved in the church. We were doing good. We were doing all right. That's just, again, things weren't perfect, but they were good. We were doing all right. Over time, after the divorce and everything, I was switching jobs, going from this job to that job. I think the longest I was keeping a job was 2 or 3 years. There was a few jobs that I was holding down for maybe a year and then switching to another job. So there was just nothing consistent in my life. With the situation with the kids, they lived with me for a week and they lived with their mom for a week. The weeks that they lived with me, I get them to school, do activities with them. When we were at home, we were spending time together, sitting on the floor playing board games, watching movies, camping out in the living room, just whatever, just spending time together. We also had, the Upwards program going, that we were involved in. We were doing this small group. We were attending church on Sundays. I mean, we were doing all those things, and we were doing all right. So that's where my life was when the kids were with me. The weeks that the kids were not with me, I was still doing the Upwards. I was still serving in the church. I was still doing all that stuff. The activities with the kids, school or whatever. I was there. I was involved and I was part of that. But the other part of it was, I was still partying a little bit, and I was still searching for happiness, through relationships, through drinking, like I said, searching for happiness, searching for something that was missing in my life. And I knew it was wrong at the time, but I knew it was wrong. I just didn't realize it. I didn't pay attention to, I've always heard and I've always been taught that you can't serve two masters. And that's basically what I was doing. I was living two separate lives. And I know, obviously I knew you can't do that, but I was doing it, but I thought I was okay, because I was heavily involved in the church. I was doing all the church activities. I was doing all that. I was praying. I was reading the Bible. So, I thought I was doing all right, but obviously, I wasn't right. But anyway, I just reached a point where I was struggling, trying to go through and, just financially I was struggling. That's part of the reason why I was switching from job to job. I just wasn't making it, living paycheck to paycheck. Some days, sometimes not even that. Jumping from job to job, that didn't give me a sense of security. I was just felt like I was up in the air all the time. Relationally, I mean, that was a joke. It was just a joke. I desired a relationship so bad, and that's what I wanted. I missed that. I missed having someone there to love and to hold and to see every morning, to see every night, and just to do life with and share life with. So that's what I was searching for that. Just everything. My life was chaos, and like I said, I was searching. I was looking for what I was missing. So I was, the divorce hurt me. It devastated me. I was one of those that I always believed when I get married, it's a one-time deal. I mean, it took me 6 years to finally decide I was going to marry this woman, because I wanted to make sure that this is it. It's a one-time deal, and having the marriage, having the kids. When all of that was gone, that hurt, and my life crumbled, and so I never fully recovered from that. So carrying that around, and then still just hurting, struggling financially, struggling relationally. Everything just kept building up. I was going through depression, fighting depression. But instead of dealing with it appropriately, I was drinking, I was going out and doing whatever. It was hard, it was wrong, and but I still thought I was doing okay. Like I said, the kids are my life, and I love my kids with all I got, and everything in my life I felt like a failure. I felt like I was letting everybody down. My mom, my brother, my family, my friends, my employers, my co-workers, my church family. I just felt like I was letting everybody down, that I was a burden to everybody. Everything I was doing, I was failing at. Just couldn't get anything right. I couldn't get my life together. I couldn't get organized. The one thing that I held on to, the one thing that I took pride in, is that I was a good dad. I was always there for my kids. I took care of my kids. I loved my kids, and I'd do anything for them. And we had a good 3 family. Just us 3. We were doing good. When that day came, that I realized I couldn't keep them in clothes that fit, because they were growing faster than I could buy clothes for them, because I couldn't afford it. I was struggling feeding them. There was days that I would go without eating to make sure that they did eat. They never went without. their friends loved coming over and staying at my house because I said I spent time with them. I got down the floor and played games with them. And when they would come and ask me if their friends could stay the night, reached the point where I always had to tell them no. Couldn't even take care of my own kids. How am I going to take care of somebody else's, even if it's just for a day, maybe two? I couldn't do it. My kids never complained. They never cried about it. They never whined about it. They understood, and they just accepted it, and they still loved me. But when that day hit, I believed I was a failure to my kids, that I failed them, that I was failing them, that I couldn't take care of them. That was it. I couldn't handle that. That's the day I decided everybody was better off without me. They were better off without me. My family. My friends. Just everybody was better off without me because I was nothing but a failure. I was a burden. So that's the day I decided to kill myself. For 14 days straight. Every morning, every night. Different times throughout the day, all day. I prayed to God to take my life. I asked Him to kill me. I asked Him to let me die. But driving down the road, just asking, tell God, let me have a blowout. Let me wreck. I don't want anybody else to get hurt. Just let me wreck. Let me die. He wouldn't do it. That was my prayer every day, every night. 14 days straight. That 15th day, as I was driving home from work, I told God, you know what? You're not going to do it. That's cool. I'll do it. I'll take care of it myself. That's what I tried to do. I ain't going to get into everything that happened that day, but it was a bad day. And bottom line is, y'all know the story, and y'all know that at the end of the day, I'd been shot 3 times. In the arm, in the neck, in the chest. And still didn't die. Just, God still kept me. God still kept me alive. During that time, I was still praying. I was still calling out to God. I was still looking to Him. But I was angry with Him too. I wasn't trusting Him. Basically, when it comes down to it, I turned my back. I turned my back on Him. Even in that moment, when I was trying to take my life, that moment that I was running away from Him, not just had my back turned, but I was running from Him, He was still right there. He was still holding me in His hands. From there, the whole story after that, being in jail, being in prison, being through a bus wreck in prison, just all of that, that's a whole different story. But the bottom line, what I want to share today, God's real. God is faithful. Even when you're not, even when you turn your back on Him, even when you turn your back on God, He doesn't turn His back on you. You're still going to go through what you're going through, but He's going to be right there with you. He is right there with you, and He's going to pull you through it. He's going to see you through it. He is faithful. He is real. Words can't explain it. Nothing can explain it. I know now all those things, all that stuff that I was worried about, all that stuff that I was dealing with, all that stuff I was struggling with, doesn't even matter. None of that was important. I took my eyes off of what was important. God, family, that love, that togetherness, that unity. I took my eyes off of that and got distracted. And it cost me everything. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, if you're where I'm at, if you're where I've been, if you're struggling, just sit down, just take a moment. Think about everything that's on your mind. Think about those things that are troubling you, those things that you're struggling with. Really prioritize it. Put it in God's hands. Trust Him. Turn to Him. Don't let this stuff get to you. Don't let it. Take my story. Listen to my story. Learn from my story. Don't go through it yourself. Don't go through it yourself. I pray for each and every one of you. I pray that none of you go through what I went through. I pray that you all have the strength and the knowledge and the wisdom and the courage, the insight to respond to your troubles and your trials and your tribulations better than I did. I didn't handle it correctly. I didn't respond to it correctly. And I pray that you do. Just trust in God, believe in God. If you already do, just keep it up, keep that faith no matter what. If you don't or you question it, like I said, talk to me, ask me. Any questions, it don't matter. I will help you understand. I'll do everything I can. It's all God's words. But if He uses me to reach you, so be it. I'm for it. Ask me. Let me know. Let somebody know. Ask somebody. Whatever struggles, whatever troubles you're going through, don't go through it alone. Get some help. Reach out. Talk to people. I didn't do that. I was surrounded by people that loved me. My church family, my own kids, my family, friends. I had people right there that I know if I would have turned to them, if I would have asked. They wouldn't have even batted an eye. They would have been right there. They would have helped me with whatever I needed. They would have given me whatever I needed. They would have talked to me. Anything. They would have done anything to help me. I know that. But I was too prideful. I didn't want to look for that help. I didn't want to ask for that help. I didn't want to accept that help. I didn't let people in. I didn't tell them what I was going through. I didn't tell them what I was struggling with. I kept it all in. I kept it all to myself, and it destroyed me. Look what it did to me. Don't do that. Talk to people. Talk to people. Ask for help. Don't be ashamed. If you see someone that's hurting, help them. Turn to them. Whatever it takes. Life is crazy. Life is fast. People are going through so much. Those little moments when you do talk to your friends, when you do talk to your family, just let them know that you're there for them and genuinely mean it. Pray for you all. I love you all. And I just hope this message reaches somebody, anybody that just needs to hear it. And I pray that and I hope that it helps you. Love you all and thank you. God bless.